study and he's working really hard. But there's a lot that's going on when a kid gets to campus midseason in terms of just getting acclimated to classes, the class schedule, the dorm life, the lifting, the conditioning. Then you start throwing in everything else, that all the details that go into it. It's one of the things that he's been surprised about, is how much information, how much detail everything is. So he's getting acclimated, but it takes time.
And I wanted to ask about Xavier getting shook up twice now, running blindly into picks. And Oscar says he called out, but he wasn't that close, relatively speaking. What do you guys see in that? How much do you expect other opponents to set such screens?
Well, a lot of teams are going to try to do those things because of the way Xavier plays the ball, and he's spearheads our defense with that kind of pressure, and so we've got to do a better job of protecting him. In an environment like Auburn, with how loud it was, and at the speed of the game that's happening, he probably didn't hear it. Oscar said he called it, probably didn't hear it, but we've got to make sure that we protect Xavier if we want him continue to be the catalyst to our defense the way he has been. And you all see that when he's into people and turning them, making them work over the course of the game, how that impacts the opposing team.
Yeah, good morning. Two quick things for you. Just kind of update us on Ty, even though I guess you're not going to, based on what you said about waiting to practice. But then also, what made you want to reach out and send that message to the fans so much today? Are you that worried about Tuesday night, or it's just something you wanted to do anyway?
It's both. It's something that I wanted to do just from the reaction of our players to the fans and the way they play, and understanding that we're playing a really good Mississippi State team. They're 4-2. They're well coached. They're a physical team, and any advantage that we can have, especially at home, we need to have. And understanding how this game could be looked at as a trap game. When you're anticipating a Kansas Saturday and coming off on Auburn, the second-ranked team in the country, on the road. But we know that this is a really, really tough game, and it's going to be a physical, hard-fought game because of what Mississippi State brings to the table. Ty, what I can say is we'll find out later in practice if he's going to be available or where he's at or what his status is. I have no idea. I guess he's like the rest of us. He's day to day.
Orlando, you guys seem to have a pretty good handle of how to play as long as you have one of Xavier or Ty in the game. But obviously against Auburn, you didn't have either one of them for a long stretch. Do you guys have to kind of figure out how you need to play if you don't have both of those guys on the court?
Absolutely. I think it's something that we're concentrating on and working. And obviously, it's hard to practice and say, okay, if they're available, put them to the side and not practice them. These are things that happen in the game, not anticipating injury and things like that. And the guys have to kind of change their roles mid-game and responsibilities. But fortunate for us, we've got a really, really smart veteran team, and we'll be able to make those adjustments if we need to. What we would prefer is that they're both available and out on the court and helping us. But like I said, the game throws obstacles at you that we have to adjust to, and it just gives our guys an opportunity to have to step up and with our next man up mentality.
Coach, obviously a stark difference between tip-off time on Saturday and the tip-off time on Tuesday night. Is there anything you guys ever have to change when you have a game that tips off this late?
Mitch, I would say no, not necessarily. I think most of our practices are determined by the kids' class schedules. And at this point in the season, we've played early, we've played late, we've played midday, we've played in the afternoon. So It's just another opportunity for us to go out there and try to get better and try to put together a win.
I know in your different times at Kentucky, you've shaken hands with some handed, powerfully gripped big men who are good at rebounding. But I wonder if you can text. I hear a lot about Oscar's hands when people talk about why he's so good at rebounding. There's a lot of the hand strength, I guess, is probably the hand size. Just how big is his actual mitts, and also just as a follow up to how much does his rebounding alone impact winning?
Well, Kyle, I can tell you that he does have some vice grips. He's got great size hands. He's been gifted with the physical attributes that he has. But more importantly than that is the rebounding is will and desire. There's some skill level to it in terms of the anticipation that you need, the being able to wedge at the right time, and the timing that you need when the rebounds are coming off the rim. And he's got all those things, and on top of the fact that he's been blessed with incredible hands. And what was the second part to your question, Kyle?
Just how much, just specific. I know he does a lot of, but specifically, it seems like his rebounding really impacts winning. Just alone in all the possessions and everything else.
Absolutely does, and particularly with our defense, because his defensive rebounding it allows teams just to get one shot at it and allows us to get into transition a lot quicker. Usually half of the offensive rebounds that you get wind up in being fouls or 3-pointers, and we're not allowing teams to do that. And on the opposite end of it, he's going and getting us second and third opportunities. And with the talent level that we have, we want more of those opportunities to be able to score.
Go ahead. Hey, Orlando, I guess following up on an earlier question about how you play without your guards, what is that process for you in terms of keeping the lesser played guys engaged long enough, to know that, because of an injury, they could be thrown into action?
Well, the beauty of our veterans is that they know this. Obviously, Ty and Bryce are freshman guards forward, but the rest of those guys are veterans, and they've been in college games, and they understand what is required when an opportunity presents itself. So, both Kellen and Davion have played the point at different times in their careers. And so if they need to, they have to, they can. And so, they have to change their focus in terms of what we're looking for them to do in terms of with our game plan.
John Wong, come to you.
Hey, Orlando, we've been dealing with COVID now for about a year and a half, and I know everybody has an opinion as to masks and whether to wear them or not. I noticed the coaching staff, you're the only one on the sideline with a mask, and just wondered what your thought was in regard to that.
Well, that was something because I was required to wear a mask up and until today, being that I was in close contact with someone that tested positive. So that's where it's from. All of us are vaccinated and boosted, and so we're just following whatever rules the CDC has and the SEC has and the university has to make sure that we're staying healthy.
Okay, thank you.
John Hale, we'll circle back to you.
Orlando, I know you weren't here when DJ Jeffries was committed to Kentucky, so maybe you can't speak to how he's grown since then, but what kind of impact does he have for Mississippi State?
I wasn't here, but I did know, watched him on the circuit and knew his talent level. And he's certainly someone that has a big impact for their team. He's shooting in the mid-30s for them from three. He's very active on the glass. He's got great size and mobility, and he's been a pivotal piece in their success.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Orlando, as I understand it, Tolu Smith he's questionable whether he'll play. How How much of a role do you think he plays for Mississippi State? What does he mean for them, and what would his absence mean?
He's a big piece. Obviously, he's a starting 5-man for them. 6'11", 245-pound center that moves really well. Was averaging almost 3 offensive rebounds per game for them, and in double digits in scoring, and got to the free throw line an awful lot. They based a lot of their post offense through him, ran it to him, and I would imagine if he's playing, that they'll continue that. If he's not playing, that I would imagine they'll go try to get Phil Brooks in that role, and he's been sick and out a few games prior to them losing him against Ole Miss before, and they used Matthews as a starter. So I would anticipate that Matthews goes in at the 4 and Brooks moves over to the 5 for him.
And I wonder too, the balance for Oscar in getting back in transition defense with being aware that the guy you're guarding may be setting a back pick that hits Xavier. How is that handled? How delicate is that?
It's part of just having court awareness and understanding that because of the way we defend the ball, teams have to try to find some kind of release. And we do the same thing when teams are trying to pick us up. We go and we try to set a screen to give them some space, to give them some headroom to get downhill. We just have to make sure that we protect Xavier and protect our guards by being able to communicate it a lot sooner and a lot louder.
Larry Mock, go ahead.
Hey, Orlando, can you talk about the chemistry on this team, how good it is or is not, and how important that is or is not compared to maybe some other teams you've been part of?
Chemistry is something that's been a strength of this team from the beginning. And I think all of us at some point have communicated that. The synergy and the togetherness that you need to try to win, it's important. It's huge in terms of winning. When you meet teams that are like with talent and coaching ability, and the intangibles come into play, and that's where the chemistry comes in. That's where the one more possession for your teammate, one more rotation, one more block, one more pass, one more offensive rebound. All those little things accumulate to winning, and you need to have chemistry and the guys to want to like each other and play for each other. They're out there playing for one another, creating this experience that we all get a chance to be a part of. And but they're the ones that are living it and doing it every day for and with each other.
Hey, Orlando. I was wondering, Oscar's got such nice touch on his shot, but he's not really finding a way to get to the free throw line a whole lot. Have you guys been looking for ways to try to get him there to take bigger advantage of that?
Yeah, actually, Oscar leads us in free throws, JD. So we try to get him in those opportunities where he's posting up. And, fortunately for us, does such a great job of catching in the paint, catching the ball in the paint close to the rim, where he doesn't have to bounce it. He just turns and scores. So sometimes you're not going to be able to get those fouls. We would prefer to get them on the offensive glass, but a lot of times he does a great job of rebounding it and kicking it out for threes. He does have a great shot out to 17, 18 feet. He's demonstrated that. He's shown that. And so, because of the way we play, a lot of times we don't get to the free throw line a lot. And, often it's because of our guards getting to the mid-range, throwing floaters, pull-ups, and the ones that we miss, Oscar rebounds for. So, we'd like to get to the free throw line a lot more. And obviously those are judgment calls from the referees. But, I think we're doing a great job in terms of how we're scoring the ball in the early 80s.
We have time for 2 more. John Wong and then Kyle Tucker.
Can you kind of address the pace of how this team plays? I know Kentucky fans really love fast-paced basketball, and you're kind of in the unique position of having seen how some of Cal's previous teams have played. Can you just kind of compare the speed at which this team is playing this year?
We love it. We know that that's one of our strengths. We want to play fast. We've got a lot of athletes. We've got a lot of guys that are in unbelievable shape, and we take pride in trying to get into the team's legs. At some point in the game, whether it's in the first half, end of the first half, early second half, mid second half, you can see that's where we start separating ourselves from teams, and we take a lot of pride in that.
Is this a lot faster than how you remember some of the earlier Calipari teams have played, or comparable?
It's comparable. It's comparable. And obviously, Xavier and Ty are a big part of that in terms of the way we defend and the way Xavier picks up the ball and allows us to pressure the ball. And Oscar allows us to rebound the ball and get out. So.
Orlando, I just wonder what is the number one focus right now as you guys work with Collins every day and just try to get him, better and better and more ready. What do you focus on the most with him, and also where's his head right now?
He's great. He's working extremely hard. He's getting extra lifts in. He's working with Rob Harris, a strength and conditioning coach, and working on his nutrition, and then getting extra reps with the coaches in terms of he's unique. He can play multiple positions. So he's got a lot of learning, a lot of growing in terms of knowing both positions, both at the 5 or at the 4. And so we're trying to help him along, make sure that learning curve gets expedited so that we can utilize his abilities, because he's really, really talented, and we know that we need him.
All right, thanks everyone. That's it for Orlando and Antigua. We'll have Jacob Toppin here in a few minutes.
Thank you, everyone.
Go ahead, John Wong.
Jacob, in the game on Saturday, it didn't seem like that you and Oscar got a lot of help down low with Kessler. He got all those dunks. I just wondered what was that all about, and what do you guys need to do better to get a little bit more help?
It was just miscommunication. We were too focused on our individual person who we were playing instead of playing team defense. And I was a part of that. I gave up, I think it was 2 or 3 lobs that I shouldn't have given up, and that's on me. But yesterday we went over what we could do better to stop lobs, and that's what we're always going to do. We're going to watch film and see how we could better ourselves.
Yeah, Cal has said at the very beginning of the year about the importance of communication, and it seems like there are still some of those issues. Do you feel like that this team is talking enough out there on the court?
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, we're going to play in full arenas where it's loud, and communication isn't always going to be heard. And there's other ways that we need to figure out how we're going to communicate with each other, because we could scream at the top of our lungs and still not hear each other because the arenas are so loud. So that's just one thing we have to be mindful of.
Gary Tipton, go ahead.
Yeah, Jacob, speaking of that, Xavier's twice now run into back screens, and Oscar said he screamed, but the arena was so loud, Xavier couldn't hear him. What's the counter move to that for you guys?
Like you said, the arena was loud, but we have to protect ourselves. We got to protect our teammates. And if that's being up where the screen is happening and yelling at Xavier saying the screen is coming, then he has to do that. I guess he wasn't close enough for Xavier to hear him, but that just means getting closer and being more aware of your surroundings.
And I also wanted to ask you about Shaden Sharp. Where is he at right now? How difficult, Jacob, do you think it is for anybody to come in middle of the season and try to catch up?
It's very difficult, but he's coming along. He's been in practices. We haven't gone full 5-on-5 with him yet, but he's getting there. He's learning the plays. He's definitely coming along very well, and we'll go from there, see what happens.
John Hale, and you're next.
Jacob, were there any nerves going for the 360 dunk on that fast break? Did you consider at any moment going for an easier play? What was the thoughts there?
There was no thought. I could dunk the ball very well. I could jump very high. Doing that 360 dunk was like doing a regular one-handed dunk for someone else.
John Hale will stay with you.
Coach Antigua just talked a little bit about the potential for tomorrow night to be a trap game because of the big game last Saturday, the big game coming up. How does it help having veterans on the roster to avoid those kind of situations?
I don't know why you would consider it a trap game. They're a very good team. I don't know their record, but they have been winning games, and they're very physical. I don't think it's a trap game at all. I think we got to go out there and fight for 40 minutes, and that's what we're going to do. Like I said, the game's going to be very physical, so we got to be ready to fight from jump.
John Clay, go ahead.
Jacob, when you guys met for practice yesterday after the Auburn game, what was the mood of the team? Were you guys angry at the loss, or did you feel like there were some good things to take from it, considering that Ty was out for so long and Samir was out for a stretch? What was the mood of the team yesterday?
I'm not the type to make excuses, but when Ty got hurt, it changed the whole speed of the game. We were up, and I believe if Ty didn't get hurt, we would have won that game 100%. And things happen, and we have to move forward from it. We definitely fought for 40 minutes. A lot of things didn't go our way, but we kept fighting. And it, like I said before, it just shows the type of team we are. We're going to always fight no matter what comes our way. And we were happy with the outcome, but we just got to learn from it, get better, and just move on.
Gary Tipton, go ahead.
Yeah, Jacob, one other thing about the 360 dunk. How old were you, or when did you first do that in a game? And have you thought about maybe extending beyond 360, add some more degrees to it?
So actually, like, fun fact, my first college points at Rhode Island, my first college points was a 360 dunk. So there's something to that. But I don't know. If I'm in the mood to do something different on a fast break, I will. But right now, we'll keep it there.
And I wondered this, we've asked you guys this again and again, but you mentioned Ty going out being significant. What about Xavier being shook up, or in the LSU game hurt? What kind of impact do you think that has on you guys?
It just sucks. Injuries suck. The LSU game, if Xavier didn't get hurt, I believe 100% that we could have won that game. And like I said, if Ty didn't get hurt, we could have won the Auburn game. But things happen. We got to learn to just adapt and figure out a way to win. And we did it those two games, but it's okay. We learned from them. Like I said, we watch film, see what we can do better, and worry about the next game coming up.
Tucker, go ahead.
Have you shaken Oscar Sheboy's hand? And if so, tell me about the.
Excuse me?
I said, have you shaken Oscar? And if you have, tell me about the grip.
The grip? Oh boy.
I know that obviously helps him rebounding, I guess is what I'm getting at. People talk about his hands and
Right. No, he definitely has big hands. They're very bulky. But I mean, I have big hands too, so it's not really different. But yeah, I think his big hands definitely help him grab more rebounds.
Ron Wong, go ahead.
Jacob, I assume that as a basketball player, everybody wants to get out there on the court and play. I know with Shaden, there's so many other factors that go into his decision, but do you get a general sense that he really wants to get out there and play?
He's young. I think he's taking it day by day. I don't think he's worried about any of that. I think he's just worried about getting better every day. And I see him in the gym all the time. He's working hard. And right now, I think he's just going with the flow of things. When his time comes, his time comes. I don't think he's really worried about anything else but getting better every day.
And Spencer, we'll come to you.
Yeah, Jacob, if you guys don't have Xavier and Tai tomorrow night, how different does that make you? Do you guys have to play a different style without those two on the court at the same time?
I mean, yeah, if they're not on the court, yeah, we'll definitely play a different style. But right now, we're focused on today, what we're going to do in practice, how we're going to focus on preparing for this game. If we don't play without them, yeah, we're going to have to play different. But hopefully, we play with them.
Gary Tipton, finish us off.
Yeah, Jacob, I wondered, Coach O was talking about how he hopes the fans are there tomorrow night and it's really energetic. They're really, how much do you think the fans at Auburn or LSU and some of the other places impacted those games?
The fans at Auburn were very loud. They were definitely into the game. The fans at LSU, they were very loud. They were into the game. But I know BBN is going to be there. BBN has always been there for us, and we appreciate all the fans that come to the games. And they definitely help us a lot, whether they think it or not. The fans, when they're engaged into the game, it gives us energy. It gives us life, and we appreciate them for that.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, everyone. That's all the time we have for Jacob Toppin.